Hello and welcome to the world building section of the stream, where we are in the process of building our own setting for a potential D&D game or something in the future. Things are looking pretty good at the moment. I'm going to go and remember where on earth I was saving this stuff. There it is. The latest looks like this. So last time what we did is we started to place various nations around the world. So we have the northern humans, the southern humans, the elves, trolls, ogres, centaurs, aarakocra, minotaurs, hill giants, fire giants, frost giants, storm giants, verbeegs, goliaths, leonin, lizard men, yuan-ti, gnolls, devils, turtles, dwarves, and that's it for now. And we are basically working our way through a timeline to progress through history. So at the moment, most of the world is not captured by anything. In the north, there's a fair amount, just because the giants are like one of the older civilizations that have been around for quite a long time. Same really as the lizard men and the yuan-ti, though they didn't really spread very far outside of the jungle. Although, actually, now I'm thinking about it, the lizard men probably should. Like, there's no real reason that they wouldn't be in the savannah. I kind of like that the yuan-ti are pressuring their cities here, but not really the ones that are like out here, maybe. And then it's probably the combined efforts of the leonin and then the gnolls that really starts to pressure them. And possibly someone else coming in from, like, the Tinkali at some point as well. You know, I actually kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of having the lizardmen being a little bit bigger at this stage. So we're currently in 2400 BC. We did start with a 3300 BC, but there's not a huge amount on the map. 2400 just seemed like a better place to start from for the things that we're trying to achieve. So let's head over to GIMP, which is what we're using to build this world. Maybe the lizardmen get chased into the savannah. If anything, I want them to be chased out of the savannah. I want them to be pushed into the desert. Thumbnails. Let's put you over there, just in case there's something secret on there. I use that for note taking. Down here, and you. There we go. Let's just push you out of the way. Okay, so lizard men, jungle lizards. How much earlier would the lizardmen have been? I think maybe like a time zone or two further. So actually, let's just take a quick look at the timelines for what we were planning. So we're currently at 2400, which is the Egyptian Old Kingdom. So at this point, they should effectively be at this point. So they're one step ahead at this stage of the game. I think that makes sense. So that would basically effectively mean that the height of their empire was about 900 years ago. And that gives about 900 years for the yuan-ti to get established and start kicking their ass. Nope, it's now. Starts at 1. The EU4 stream is only an hour. Speaking of which, actually, I should probably put up a stream notification. Switching to world building. And I should also put onto Twitch to say, yo, this ain't EU4 no more. This is just chatting. Building her new world. Primescence. Done. Okay. I'm going to move you over there because I keep getting you lost. So yes, let's go and make the lizardmen a bit bigger, and I might give them another city or two. Or they just... No, these are going to be mostly rural. The cities are still going to be these three. I think they're having like the triumvirate. Makes sense. Are the lizardmen from this continent? From another? No, they're from this one. Right. So I want to get the pencil tool. Make sure I have the lizardman color. Make sure I'm on the lizardman track. Fortunately, the color's always going to be messed up unless I go do that. Drop it back down to 70. That is still the wrong color. No, it's not. Just looks wrong because they're in this area now. So I think they've probably made it up to about there. They've probably begun incursions. Into the woods where they've come up against like the Proto-Leonin and then were kicked out. They didn't want to venture further because they kept on being hunted by the Leonin. Still this weird ass outline. I think that might have been because we drew some of these lines or something else. No, we used my pencil. Okay. And then I'm also going to go to the borders because I want to keep the borders of the cities vaguely down and then just say that there are lizardmen here in decent numbers, but they're not very populous. So I want to get rid of some of... Oh, no, don't do that. Make you 25. Just keep that a bit neater. And then we want to go to the borders. We want to choose a black color. And then we want to have the size. I think it's like 5. Yes. You know what? They can go up to here. Not having really ventured out the mountains there. Down the middle of the river. Up to the deserty area. So this is by far and away the biggest lizardmen town. And then this is just where they are, just much smaller numbers. I kind of feel like the desert lizardmen should maybe have a town. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking putting the desert lizardmen actually having a town here, and then they were pushed down this way because of competition from the jungle lizards. And the reason I'm saying that is, what if there were like salamanders or something in here? So the desert lizardmen have their heat mitigation capabilities because of the salamanders, which is why they are able to live in the desert. So we're going to add the salamanders. We're going to remove... No, let's move you down to the lizardmen. Where are they? So we're going to kick the regular lizardmen out of this area. We'll say that they are in the savannah, because that's basically where the wars have been fought over. And then that is desert lizardmen now. Oops. 70. There we go. That is not the right color. That's the right color. So then the desert lizardmen own everything up to here. And in here is going to be the salamanders. And then basically what's happened is the salamanders and the desert lizards are effectively allied, but were defeated by the lizardmen. The salamanders still control this realm, and there's going to be a large salamander capital there. Now, are there any, like, salamander humanoids? I mean, they basically are already. Yeah, the desert lizardmen are definitely relations between salamanders and those guys, but the regular lizardmen decided that they didn't like them, but the desert lizardmen still got on. And then this is going to be the salamander home area. Small, probably intensely urbanized. And I would say that most of the woods here are probably burned. So I think that what we need to do is load up World Origin. So it's not going to affect it for that map, just because I can't be bothered to update it. This is not the right page. It's this. Right, because that's called 14, yeah. So with the 15 it will have the newest update. What's NS? NS is the... Sorry. This is still not the right thing. That's the one I want. Because I want to load up Worldographer, so I can turn those into burned forests. No, salamanders are an entirely different race. They're related to the lizardmen, but they are different. And what I want to do is terrain, classic. It's basically everything up to the river. The salamanders have effectively burned. Would it look more petrified or burned? I'm just using the icons that I have here. And dead forest is what it is. It's probably more petrified. Also related to the very active volcano there. I think you removed a mountain tile, did I? Three in the north. 3, 2, 3, 2. Nope, it's the same. Nope. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save this one as 15, because this has got changes. And we'll use that in the future. Ah yes, I did lose one of the hills. Well spotted. I think I might even change you... Oops. You into Savannah. No, you know what? It looks okay that it's kind of spread along the river. That's fine. Okay, so that is the salamander area. Now that gives us a better reason for the rather more rapid evolution of the desert lizardmen and why they are different to the jungle lizardmen. Because there was definitely a split, probably several 100,000 years before their societies began to climb. Alright, I like that. I like that a lot. So this is going to be petrified forest in the future. And then the desert lizardmen have started to push this way because these lizardmen were basically pushing in front of them. And these are just more populous. They had a population boom. Eventually, these lizardmen are just going to find themselves under so many different fights. The desert lizardmen will have an easier time of surviving until the Tinkali arrive. And that's going to be a massive threat, basically, for all of the lizardmen. Okay, cool. I like it. So I think that this was effectively where I wanted to... Oh no, hang on. I need to write a label for the salamanders. As soon as the thing is finished saving. And the salamanders are there in the red. Yeah, the music's pretty loud. I can turn that down. Right. Cool. There was something else I was thinking about doing, but I forgot last second. Right, the gnolls. Their colour doesn't seem to have been made transparent. Okay, so I would say that that is a pretty good rendition of 2400 BC. Why wouldn't the lizardmen have more presence in the jungle against the Auntie? If this is the height, shouldn't that city be cut off yet? This isn't the height. This is 1,000 years after the height. The rise of the Yuan-Ti basically emerged from the height of their civilization. So they're effectively in the Greek era, whereas these guys are still Old Egypt. And with that, I think we are now ready to move to the next timestamp, which is going to be Greek city-states 1300 BC. I'm also going to make this world 15, so I'll bring in the other world. Which means that these need to be 40. And export image. Okay. These are 15. And we wait for it to be exported. Export complete. Come over here. I should be able to just overlap this. It is not centered. Okay, I need to find a way of centering this. Because that has to be pixel perfect. I think it is. It is. Okay, and then with that, Salamander realm should now line up properly. Almost. I'm going to tidy this up a little. Perfect. Let me save this. I'm actually going to save this as World Origin 15 2400 because there's no reason for the background map to have changed between those, just to keep that up to date. So it's going to be the same as you, except that this is World Origin 15. And we go back to the 2400 one. Okay, so 1200 BC, this is when the humans are in full colonization mode. Does anything else happen in this era? Invention of the sail, question mark. Right, I wanted to see what the progression of sailing was. Like, what happened when? So, Lapita people, ancestors of the historic cultures of Polynesia, Micronesia, and some coastal areas of Melanesia. Between 1200 and 1000 BC, they spread to western Polynesia on single-hulled outriggers. Hang on. Ancient voyaging, from 50 to 25,000 BC, sailed on simple rafts from island to island. 1200 BC, sailed canoes further east into remote Oceania. Then 1200 to 1000, they went to Polynesia. But that's all about the Pacific. Earliest record of a ship under sail appears in the Egyptian vase from about 3500 BC. So no, sailing would have been around earlier. But that early sailing would have been fairly localized and up and down the rivers, which is how they went up and down the rivers. And also bear in mind that with the colonization era, these are when they've already arrived. This is not when they're setting out. So it's somewhere between 2400 and 1200 that these colonies appear. I don't want to get more concrete than that. Yeah, and then we had the development of the longship, which really allowed oceanic sailing outside of Polynesia. That's when this stuff would have happened. Possibly out to these. We're talking primarily this, and maybe down here as well. Alright, so if we take the North humans, and then we're going to make you 100 again, just so I can steal your colour. What is this thing? Oh, and legacy. Where do we think the new colonies would have appeared? I don't think they would have gone this way, because there's nowhere to land and resupply. So all of the colonization would have been certainly in here. So I'd say at this point there's probably human habitation. In here. I'd say there was probably human habitation in here. Probably slightly into the swamps, though. They wouldn't have spread that far into the swamp at this point, because there's no real need to. We'll say you're in the desert as well, though, again, that's probably just a tile that kind of got stuck there. Let's go and remove that. This is there. And they would definitely be in here, and in fact, probably in some pretty significant numbers. Like, this is a really obvious place to have spread to. Probably encroaching on the forest, which would have pissed the elves off. They're trying at this point. Probably with some habitation in the hills. Now, what point was the Copper Age? And I would imagine that they have also grown out to here. Would definitely have moved out to this bit. And then in the south, definitely would have taken down there. Probably further. It's been like 1,000 years. Although some of their population growth would have been reduced simply because some of their population's moving abroad. So let's say there's something of a colony from the yellows in here. Which is going to be interesting because that's going to have a different cultural background to these guys, who probably are also up here. Now, do we think that they would have started building ships on this side? You know what, if they've taken this, yes. So they are probably over here. Probably not that into the really, really forested area. They would certainly have taken this area. That seems like a pretty good place to colonize. What does N-humans mean? Northern humans. So there's southern humans down here too. It's just the two different cultural groupings at this stage. Do the salamanders need a city? Yes, I will add a city to them. Good point. Let's go. Populations. Right, what size were the cities? 10? 20? 20. Salamander City's there. In fact, no, it's there. Overwrote you by accident. Shoot. I overwrote the wrong file. That sucks. I already closed it, so I can't undo that. What got overwritten? Just the really, really base level. No, never mind. No, we're good, we're good, we're good. Because all I need to do is rename this 2400 BC. Let's put the old files in here. Because this is easy to fix. That's just 2400 BC and 1200 BC, and then this one should still be the original. Yeah. Cool. So which ones do I have open? This is 1200. Yeah, that's the one that I'm working on. Okay, good. So that's the northern human growth. I feel like they would have come more this way too. Probably having the first interactions with the giants. Just because the ground is much more fertile that way than it is this way. And I think they would also have come down this way more. Probably taking all of this super fertile bit. And probably the marshes. Wouldn't have been heavily populated, but they would be there. Again, 900 years have passed. You can do quite a lot in 900 years, and this is their main population centre. And I want these guys to be relatively big to make their fall even more explosive. Alright, then let's work on the southern humans. Put you back up to 100. Let's make sure we have the right colour. Put you back down to 70. Okay, so the southern humans, I think, would be kind of content going down the rivers. So I feel like the southern humans are probably being less navally expansionist to the yellows, because they just have a lot more space here to grow into. think they would have colonized that lake pretty dramatically. It's close enough. Probably out something like this. And we can add a couple more cities too. I think they would have come along this river as well, especially this bit. This is super fertile. Possibly even more. What's the next era? Bronze Age collapse. Right. So let's have them coming up towards this area. Taking a little bit of that area, then starting to really work on the coast of this lake. Kind of hugging the decent lands there. Oops. Because there is a lot more stuff to get down that way, but I do want them to have a couple of adventurers. When was different Metal Ages? Because Bronze Age collapse is clearly the Bronze Age. Copper Age was the 5th millennium BC. So 4000s. So Copper Age would have been the era before. This is now Bronze. Yeah. We're well into the Bronze Age at this point. I think the northern humans would have a city on the more swampy peninsula, maybe Venice-like or Dutch-like. Not at this point. Disease would be a big problem. Like, yeah, they may have taken more of this. I can buy that. Maybe up to, say, here. Just because it's all of this bay, and they would have ships coming and going from here constantly. Even that, I think, is going a bit too far. Like, if you look at the growth of various medieval societies, they tended to stay out of the swampy areas until later. They may well have tried to get something down here, though. That I can buy. Taking these hills. Maybe a little bit of the swamp around. Because hills weren't really a problem for Bronze Age. Gives us some more colonies. Right, back to the purple. South humans. Where else have they gone? Oh, that was the Swampy Peninsula we were talking about. Fair enough. Wouldn't some humans and giants be able to live in the same space? Yeah, probably, but there isn't going to be that much of a clash there yet. And I think it's fairly clear that there's going to be a purple holdout down here. Probably nestled in this bay there, going up to the marsh but not into it, going into the hills. Especially these southern hills. And then also some forest for shipbuilding. It's important. So the humans wouldn't yet be in this area. I'm even going to say that we have like a little Crete type location starting to pop up over here. This island is also quite fertile. Which would suggest, in order to even see where that is, that there would be a little outpost there. Alright, who else has grown? Elves, for sure. Minotaurs. Minotaurs would be exploding at this point too. Let's do the Minotaurs. Excuse me. Right, let's make you 100 so that I can get your colour. Be back down to 70. Yes, so Malo Diablo, you had some really good suggestions. Do I still have that open? No. Where was it? It was on Discord, wasn't it? More building. There it is. Huh? Oh, it's downloading. Okay, so this was Malo Diablo's suggestion for what the hell we do with the elves. Which is a question that comes up quite frequently. What do we do with the elves? So we've started out here. That's 3300 BC. Oh, sorry, that's 2400 BC. Which is, as you probably recognise. Let's go back to the Elven Realm so we can take another look. That's here. And then you're suggesting during the Greek city-state they push out more towards the coast. Colonising all of this for sure. Colonising over there for sure. Being so centralized, I can see that Crete Island being completely deforested during the high times of the naval kingdoms. Yeah, quite possibly. Isn't this before the Bronze Age collapse, before the Greek city colonization? Yeah, I know, we've mixed that up a little bit. Because we wanted the humans to have a really big population explosion to give them time to start spreading out more. And then probably the coming of the boat peoples is probably the humans. Or did we say something else for the boat people? Boat people question mark. Oh no, Greek colonization was here, you're right. Well, this can be the start of it. This might be when the purples start exploding. Once they've taken this area. And the boat people is probably these guys. Anyway, getting distracted. So yeah, you got human tribes coming in the south. I think that probably is going to be the boat people. I think at this point I would like to see the Minotaurs taking out more of the ogre territory before they completely subvert the ogres. Which is why the Minotaur nation becomes so dangerous, because it's the Minotaurs and the ogres. And maybe part of the Minotaur shattering is an ogre uprising. So you have the elves going all the way out here. Why would they have gone that way? What are they following? Feels like more likely they would have gone this way because fertility is better. I think it's much more likely they would have gone here. Let's follow that to its conclusion. Let's do the elves first. So during this era, I think we probably would have seen elven migration through to here. We would definitely see it ballooning out here where the fertility is good. In fact, I'll probably take that whole area and some of the trees. In fact, I think it probably even would have been entirely in like this. So we probably have the establishment of another elven city-state down here. And then they probably push through this way. We should probably put some kind of special resource in this region. Because that's something we haven't talked about at all. Is where do certain resources come from? Let's... push the elves out, something like this. Because travel through here would be a pain. Which is why I'm thinking it's much easier, because there's a lot more flat land, there's a lot less forest than going all the way through here. That's a flipping massive forest. And they would definitely have gone west too. Like, I'm thinking that they would have taken over, like, this whole region. At least within these hills. We'll take the mountain as well. That would have been a stone source. Where are the sources of salt and tin? Specific metal mines. Yeah, so in the Bronze Age, this is part of the reason why Britain became important, because it was like one of 3 locations where you could get tin. Copper was plentiful, tin wasn't. I think it was also one of the reasons that Crete... No, it's why the Greeks... Population-wise, the Greeks had a heck of a lot less people. Was it the Greeks? Or was it the Minoans? No, the Hittites. Crap, I don't remember who it was. Ancient tin mines. There we go. This is where the tin was found. And there's very little of it around the Mediterranean. There's a lot of it over here. Cyprus was the tin mine. Yes, it was. And Crete. So it was the... Where were the... Where were the Hittites? Turkey. I'm fairly sure it was the Hittites who had the monopoly on tin supplies. So their population was a lot lower than the Egyptians and the Greeks, but they were able to stay competitive because they had the tin. I think that's how it worked. Yeah, Minoans were... Proto-Greeks. It was the Hittites I'm thinking of. So, resources. Let's put you up top. Below populations. Now, where does tin occur naturally? Because this tin was definitely an ancient, like, source of power. Do 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 do. Sphalerite. Zinc, not tin. I think tin. No, cassiterite. There you go. Cassiterite is tin. Ah. High temperature, hydrothermal veins, granite, pegmatites. So it would be in hilly areas. That makes sense, actually, thinking about it. So again, not in the forest. I would guess it's probably in here. Possibly up here. Possibly in here. Ooh. like these hilly areas. That's... or over here. Yeah, but I want a reason why the elves moved this way, when it's much easier to have gone this way. And I can't really say that the elves lacked for boat building technologies, because that doesn't make sense. They're a river society. Yeah, copper is 2,500 times more common than tin. I know, again, that's part of the reason why Britain became strategically important, because it was a massive tin source in the ancient world. Drove a lot of the early population and trade. And this is probably also why the Minotaurs are strong. Like, if there's tin here... So let's go back to our resource map mode. So tin is going to be... like yellowy grey. So if we say that there was tin... here... which gives the Minotaurs reason to go after the ogres. Makes sense. I'll say that there was a small deposit there. And there. Because it's not necessarily found in mountains, it's hills. And quite possibly in here as well. And that gives the elves reason to go east. Yeah, I like that. So those are tin supplies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go this colour. Tin. And then tin is going to be in its own category. Resources. Except I want tin to be written in black. There we go. And we may well want to add more sources of tin. Elsewhere. Yeah, the dwarves should have tin. Well, the dwarves are going to have lots of metals. This is going to be a very metal-rich area. We're getting distracted, though, working on the elves. Alright, good. I like that they have some. And they have a couple of small sources here. But they're still definitely looking for more. Alright, so would the elves have spread anywhere else? They'd have a fairly easy time going down this way. Now let's take another look at your document, which was here. Yeah, you have them going down that way. Into here. Which I think does make sense. Oh wait, no you don't. That's further south. These mountains are these. Yeah, following the river. That does, yeah, that makes sense. We were agreed on that one. You just have them going through the north, I have them going further south. And then I think I'm going to have the Minotaurs. Right, Minotaurs, let's do them next. Minotaurs, where are you? You are. The Minotaurs were that. No, that's Tim. Minotaurs. 100. Choose pencil. Select them. Back down to 70. So the Minotaurs, I think, would definitely have made their way out there. And then in terms of their fighting against the ogres, they're skirmishing going through these woods. It's kind of hard for them to detect. I would say the Minotaurs are a lot more organized. No. That's roughly where I'm imagining the Minotaurs to be now. And the ogres have lost gotta keep it tidy. Because we want the Minotaurs to really emerge as one of the regional superpowers. So having them in a period of inflated growth at this point to really make them dangerous, I think makes sense. But most of their movement's southwards because they're after the ogres. They would have spread a little bit further north. Minotaurs. I think generally where food and stuff is okay. Like out to this lake. Probably not really beyond those lakes though. They've not really shown much interest in sailing. For them, the rivers are landmarks. Ways to navigate. Easy passage. definitely not interested in the marsh. They're too heavy for that. Probably would have started maybe up to here. Where's the Minotaur tag gone? They don't have one. Has that always been true? Yep. Sorry, Minotaurs. My bad. No, don't move that. Ah. I wanted the ogres. Let's move a little further south to show that they are changing in balance of power. When would they start pushing the giants? I think they not yet. Well, maybe they would. When did Mallow have them go after the giants? Yeah, not yet. The giants are still scary at this point. You know what? Minotaurs being Minotaurs, they're basically giant cows. I'm going to have them going up into the plains here a bit more. Maybe up to about here. Not really interested in the hills. And at some point we're going to need to start dropping some more towns as well. Okay, so that's the Minotaurs and the Ogres. I do think that we want to have an elven city, maybe even two, established down here. I think probably right in the mouth of that river. Maybe here. Let's put it there. You got the wood, you got the river leading to the building materials, and you got farmland, lots of it. And I think I'd also put another city there. Okay. There. So those are the elven cities. What about the humans? Well, humans definitely are going to have a city over here. I think probably right there. Although wood supplies will be a bit harder, that's probably why they've spread up here, so that they can start shipping in the wood. So actually, northern humans... Yeah, a little bit further north. They've started to encroach on the Feywild, and the Feywild ain't happy about this. But the big urban centre is still far enough away to be safe. Meanwhile, we're going to go back to the population. Where would the city be here? Probably right there. Building materials from the mountains, farmland here, and then they can import the wood supplies from over there. And then down here, It's almost certainly just out in the open. Then down here, I think they would be basically just on the edge. So starting to see more individual city-states emerging. And as for this area, I mean, they would have arrived from here. But this is a bit more of a sheltered bay, so we're going to put you there. And then the southern humans. I mean, there's definitely... Let's see, you would sail up here. I would say there's probably a city right there where they can start pulling in resources from the hills. And probably a big-ass agricultural city right there. Then going this way, there's probably a whole bunch of them. There is definitely a city there. Possibly another one there. And one here. No. Yes. Yes. Put one there. So the southern humans at this point are really starting to boom. And we need more elven cities in that case. There needs to be something over here. So where did we say the tin was? Well, there would be a tin city over this way. Probably... Probably in there. And then another one here. Is that really a city though, or is that a town? I think that would be smaller. It's an important town. Kind of feel like we got too many. Well, no, because super fertile. You could do a lot here. Especially going down this way. Maybe not that one. Let's get rid of you. We'll bring you in later. Oh yeah, and then down here as well. Well, the head of the bay... I would say is right there. And then we want our Crete city right there. And this is an outpost, I think we decided already, so we're going to put you down to a 10. We'll put the outpost there. You know what, let's put the outpost where we were going to put that big city. Where was that? Here. So at this point there probably should be a lot more of those size places. Especially for the humans. I think they would have been building lots, but not necessarily very urbanized, because they have no reason to be urbanized. Unlike the elves who are. That's not a dot. That's just the S dot humans. I should probably take the dots away from that because that's confusing. There probably should be some more northern human towns over on that side as well. And I'm also going to change some of these from being big old population centres to being smaller ones. Because they're colonies. They're not full-on cities yet. That one probably is. Because it's a good location. I feel like there'd be one there which tends to all the shipping coming in. And then I also feel like there should be one over here, because it's out in the open where there's a lot of food. There's farming resources over there. It's not too far from the coast. Depends what comes from the hills. You know what? Hills are a lot harder to carry. Let's put you there. Yeah, that's better. And then the lizard men. Yeah, we should work on them too. Oh. Desert lizard men should just be the lizard men. Same reason. We'll revisit them in the future, I think. I'm starting to flag quite hard. So I'm pretty happy with the spread out of the yellows, the purples, and the elves. Minotaur expansion is good. They seem to be still roughly on par with the elves, maybe slightly ahead. Wondering if I want to have another yellow over here. Yes, I think I will. Put you there. And these are going to be North humans. What's that colour? Put you in 30. I'm not going to have a huge amount of stuff over here. But the beginnings of something, and that's important because that's going to be the base for going over to here. And they'll probably take something from here, from the trolls. Yeah, I like that we're already starting to get different cultures from the humans. The purples versus the yellows. The yellows are a lot more adventurous than the purples. The purples are going to be much taller. As in urbanized. Because they're just in a much more fertile area. I mean, these guys can build tall, but they've explored more. Also, the coastline's more interesting. And then the elves are already getting locked into wars over resources. The South humans will start to radically colonize this area probably in the next era. Once they find this river and start sailing down it, they're going to discover a whole new area. And then with that, they'll probably start to populate this section. Which could start to bring them into conflict with the... probably not the lizard men, they'd be pretty much locked in by this mountain range, but maybe the devils. That would be the rise of two maritime powers here. Dwarves are still some way off. So actually the dwarves encountering the others is going to be quite late. Yeah, there are definitely going to be humans appearing down here. Like, I agree with your reasoning with that, and I like the idea that this is going to be the future half-elven realm. I think that's really cool. I'm just not sure if they would have made it yet. I think they would have been the arrivals of the Bronze Age collapse, because then the elves suddenly being hit from the south with the arrival of the humans, maybe with the arrival of diseases from the humans. Coinciding with attacks from the Minotaurs and maybe an intensifying conflict with the Hill Giants. Because come the Bronze Age collapse, that's definitely when the Minotaurs and the Ogres would be combined. The Ogre's already kind of on the brink of collapse at this point. Or at least the Ogres would be down to like this area. Maybe just like the mountain here in the middle. Last stand fortress. As the moors have fallen. Actually quite like that. And we should also do something with the Aarakocra, though I don't think they would have much reason to have expanded south very much. I don't really want them to have really high populations, seeing as they have that verticality as well. If the elves are more agrarian and do animal husbandry more, wouldn't they have more disease resistance? Not necessarily. The northern humans could have taken some weird stuff from the Feywild. That's true. The dwarves have not expanded in this area yet. The dwarves at this point almost certainly would have filled in this area, maybe even hit this river. I don't know how expansionist the dwarves would be. They should be fairly expansionist. They're kind of like the lizard men. They should probably be an era ahead of everyone else. So in fact, in 2400, they should have been bigger. Possibly just starting to hit this river. To be determined anyway. It's 20 to 3. I'm getting tired. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, be sure to hit that follow button so that you get notifications when I'm live again in the future. If you've really enjoyed this and you would like to support the channel, then please do consider subscribing. Helps the channel out. Lets me do more of this kind of content. You can, of course, check out the Patreon at patreon.com/MordredViking. Tay, Crypto, Tree, and the Jolo. Thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. Hey, that's my day off. I'm taking Thursday off because of my last day at Europa Universalis as the community ambassador. Then on Friday, I'm taking off because it's my first full day off after having worked for a full year as the community ambassador for Europa Universalis. And then I'll be back again on Saturday with more streams. So Saturday will be more. Is there anything else I want to say? Yes, we have a Discord, which is where the community hangs out. They're a very cool bunch, and there is the world building channel on the Discord, which has been very active lately, actually, and I'm very much like, I read it as soon as I see a message there. I read it. So there is a lot of toing and froing about different things. Some of the decisions we've made here we should probably start to chronicle. So if someone wants to make a timeline with more concrete information in it, please do. Also, Malo Diablo did the really good overview of the elves, which I've read through and I think is really, really good. More ideas like this would be helpful. Gives me some ideas outside of what I perhaps may have been thinking about how I want things to develop. Dwarves could do something like this. Like, the dwarves are just a bit of a blank canvas. I don't really have any ideas of what to do with them just yet. I know what they do in like the Middle Ages, but going up to the Middle Ages, I don't know. And like the Minotaurs, Ogres, and Elves, I think I'm fairly content with. Northern humans I'm fairly content with. Southern humans, maybe a little bit more. And then the Lizardmen, Salamanders, and Yuan-Ti, and Leonin. Leonin also should be expanding in this era. Don't have a huge amount on. The Devils and Gnolls, I have an idea, I just don't know when. Anyway, that's all for me for now. Thanks everyone for watching. I will catch you on Saturday for more games. Including, I believe, the triumphant return of Hearts of Iron. Let me just double check that. Saturday. Yep, Stellaris followed by Hearts of Iron. So it is a Paradox Day. Anyway, thanks everyone.